Tinubu is banning his ministers from traveling internationally for the next 3 months. Of course, on work trips, that is. It's an interesting one. President Tinubu has made a decision to put the brakes on government-funded overseas travel for ministers and officials. Okay, why? The president is trying to cut down on government expenses. And personally, I think it's sensible. I think it makes sense. I think it's right. I mean, who would not want to tighten the belts of the spending in this country? Because I want you guys to know that spending that they're spending, the taxpayer money, it's me and use money. At least me, I pay my taxes. So I know it's my money. This is what we've been asking for. But let us go back to the genesis of this, right? What is really going on here? Why does the government need to stop overseas travels, at least frequently? Well, because they're trying to cut spending. That's good. Let's go back to the next foundation of this. What about the fat paychecks and allowances that our senators and ministers are still raking in? And you know, at this point, if they're really serious about cutting down expenses, they need to go into and look at the hefty salaries and the perks that these elected officials are enjoying. Why do I say that? Minimum wage is 30,000 naira. Legally, Nigerian government has said that you must pay someone 30,000 naira. That 30,000 naira is enough for a person to live and survive in Nigeria. That is what our lawmakers have said, and they have not been eager to change this. Don't forget, our senators and ministers are still raking in millions and are one of the highest paid public officials in the world, a country like Nigeria. Speaking of perks, don't forget that also sometimes when our leaders are traveling, they take family members along. We know last month there was a whole hurrah about that, right? With President Tinubu's sons. So we ask ourselves, why is this wrong? It's wrong because it's taxpayers' money. Like, I think sometimes when we think about the federal government, when we think about, we hear this money that is being spent, it's not ghost money. This money belongs to us. These people, it's not their business. Nigeria is not a business that belongs to 5 people, but that's the way it's run. So I think because of that, we don't feel like they owe us accountability. Because where is the transparency? Okafor on social media had a comment about this, and I thought it was an interesting one. The only problem is that he will still carry everybody when he wants to travel. Anyways, it's a good move if utilized well. We have a knack for disregarding protocols and rules in this country, end quote. This is true, we do. Now, my other question is, what happens after the 3 months is up? When it's lifted, are they going to go back to travel? Are we still going to have a huge amount of expense? Why only 3 months? 3 months for what? Why not put a specific amount of times they can travel in a year? That's what should be done, not a ban for 3 months. So then, okay, ban's lifted, I travel 5 times in a month. It does nothing. There needs to be specific regulations on when and how people can travel, and the amount. They need to reduce the amount that they're allowed to spend when they travel. I can travel tomorrow and I can spend $2,000, or I can travel tomorrow and I can spend $150,000. So it's not about traveling. It's about the budget that they're allowed to spend when they travel. That is the problem. The budget is too much. Let's do things and do them with making sure that they're going to create an impact and change. A ban doesn't do anything. Reduce the budget that they're allowed to spend when they travel. That is the solution. Tinubu did not exempt himself from travel ban. He's been traveling a lot, we know, since taking office. In just his first few months as he's been in office, he's visited 10 countries, and he's been to France and Guinea-Bissau twice. I know Guinea-Bissau is because of everything that's happening with ECOWAS and stuff like that. And you know, he's also thrown in visits to United Kingdom, Kenya, Benin Republic, and India. He's like a travel blogger. Just joking. You know, and he's thrown in a lot of trips and travels, and I get it. There's work to be done. Then there's the controversial issues of the trips to France. And sometimes it feels like we're in a black hole when he goes to France. Like, we don't know what's happening. It's like, why did the president go to France? Is he okay? Is he all right? What's happening? What's happening? Now, I want to let you guys know how much he spent on all of his travels. And I think it's an amount that it hurts me, because again, I say the budget that they're allowed to spend when they travel is too much. That's the issue. It's not the travel, it's the budget. 3.4 billion naira is what all those domestic and foreign excursions that the president has been taking has cost. 3.4 billion. If President Tinubu is very serious about cutting down on government expenses, he should lead by example. It needs to start with his cabinet. Nobody's going to take anybody seriously. Like, let's stop doing all these games for show. Let's do things that are going to change this country. I appreciate the fact that the president is on a global mission to transform the image of Nigeria. I think it's important. I think building international relationships is important. But transparency is key, guys. It's key. Accountability is key. When you're trying to audit a country, when you're trying to change a country, you got to do the work and do it legitimately. It's not surface-based policies and rules that are going to create solutions for Nigeria. These are tax-funded trips, our taxes. But I'm going to give the president credit because I know they are trying to do this, but I do want them to do it properly. Don't stop travel. Change the budget that is allowed to spend when travel is approved. Let's really dig in there. Let's start with the bottom line. If we want to see a meaningful change in how our government operates, we need to keep the pressure on. We need to demand accountability, because it's the money that belongs to Nigeria, not anyone's pockets. And we need to deserve to know how it's being used. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it's a good move. Maybe I'm not seeing the benefits of it, but in my opinion, it's a cosmetic policy. That's what I think. Someone has revealed that he believes he knows the cause of Herbert Wigwe and Mr. Ibu's death. Click on the next video to find out.